Now, can your name really hold the key to your future? Well, according to Laurence Payg, it can. Laurence, welcome to the programme.
Hello, Colin.
How are you?
Fantastic.
You're right.
Yes.
How does name analysis work?
Basically, each legal name that a person has indicates things about them. Each name indicates personality, characteristics, their virtues, their vices, and every person is the unique individual combination of their names.
OK, now, why should your name have an effect on your life?
Most people assume that their parents choose their names. The research that my wife and I did over 7 years proves that your names are allocated by yourself on reincarnation.
Really?
Your name and your date of birth become your blueprint, your plan, your pattern for this life.
Okay.
So that's how it fits in.
And so what does your work consist of?
My work involves a number of phases. First of all, I analyse people from their full legal name. I can tell people personality, characteristics, their virtues, their vices. They can learn about themselves, or sometimes it's more important that they learn about another person that they're connected with. I take one letter from each name and I can tell people the events that are happening. Right. So an N brings love, romance, loving conditions, a G brings gains at certain ages, the letter H would bring stress and strain and so on. Right. By taking a letter from each name, I can tell them the events in their lives and I progress it forward, normally about 5 years. Okay. The final part is a bit amazing, Colin, if you don't mind me saying so, because if they're not happy with anything that I've said, we can change their name, and that changes the person. It changes their personality and the events that happen to them. And I've done that for hundreds and hundreds of people.
Have you got proof that that's actually happened to someone that's changed their name, their fortunes have turned around, that kind of thing?
I can talk about all sorts of people, but you wouldn't know them. The one that you may be aware of is Jerry Dorsey, who was a singer for 16 years in the UK. Right. He then changed his name. He became Engelbert Humperdinck. He was an overnight success. Now, what else did he change? He didn't change his date of birth. That's impossible. Parents, education, background, experience, voice, fingerprints stay the same. He didn't change his recording company, even the type of music he sang. So it only leaves the name that makes a success. And there's many examples in the world of entertainment. But of course, all the viewers out there who are ladies, they change on marriage. And when the church says to a lady on the wedding ceremony, it's for better or worse, it isn't joking. The gentleman's surname added on really does change the lady's name.
OK, well, before we get into matrimony, let's look at a couple of famous names that are incredible, no expense spent board.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you'll be aware of the name Robbie Williams.
Oh yes, absolutely.
What does that say to you?
Robbie totals 33. It's a numerical system. Right. It makes him a very hard-working person, and his career will dominate and dominate and dominate. It becomes the driving force. He will neglect other areas of his life for his career. Even himself on occasions, he drives himself very, very hard. Right, okay. Williams is very sensitive, more than he will admit to, perhaps. It's the sensitive side of his nature, but on a downside, it can be a bit sarcastic. When he's drained or low, there can be a sharp edge to his tongue. OK, now underneath we've got another popular name at the moment, Jerry Halliwell. Yes. There's always rumours abounding between the two of them. Is there any future in that sort of conjunction there? As a friendship, yes. As a relationship and marriage, I don't think so at all. It's almost impossible. Again, Halliwell is devoted to career. Jerry's the bright, lively side. The love of music is in that name. The gains are in Jerry, where she will gain from. But they're both focused very much on themselves and their careers. Now, it's difficult for one partner in show business to hold down a successful relationship. When they're both connected with show business, it is almost impossible. There is nothing there to indicate compatibility, but basically they can be very, very close friends. They're better as friends than if they married. If they married and she added on Williams on marriage, then she would become very sarcastic and they'd row and quarrel and argue, and that can happen. So I don't think there's a future there for marriage.
Can you predict a perfect match for either of those two? In the showbiz world?
No, I mean, I haven't looked at that. But I would look for partners that really did not focus too much on career, that could support these people, because that would enable them to travel with them when they're doing gigs and when they're flying abroad. Their partner would be there. Then they could spend quality time together. They would also need a partner that would understand that their career with their partner must come first. So they would need a very understanding person there, and it would be difficult for either of them to find that, I feel.
OK.